Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. Gonna be diving back into some RollerCoaster Tycoon. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. But first, just want to say I'm so happy that there's finally snow here in New York City. It was over 700 days that we didn't even have an inch of snow in a single day in Central Park, and we finally broke that record. Finally feels like winter. If only I could have been here last month for Christmas, but oh well, can't have it all. But today we can have RollerCoaster Tycoon. Time to yeet some folk out of coasters. No, we're not trying to have people die. We're trying to actually run a park well. However, so last week we did Diamond Heights, and we wound up hitting the goal during the stream, but not the actual time limit. So I actually sat down and I let it run to the end so that I could get the credit, because that unlocks another level. In that time, 2 of the coasters broke down and crashed, and people got hurt. It was really sad. It was like, and I was just sitting there doing nothing. I was just like, da 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 da. They don't die, they just de-res. Also, the game audio is a bit hot. Yeah, the game audio changes depending on what song is playing. And they do die, for the record. It does say at the bottom, X amount of guests have died. It's actually really sad. But last week we did one from the original, so I thought today, and then the next time we do this in 2 weeks, we'll do one from the expansion pack. So today, one from Corkscrew Follies. Just thinking 3 Monkeys Park. We have the end of October, year 3, park rating of 600 with 1,400 guests. And this park starts with this amazing triplet of coasters that are just beautifully intertwined. Called Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, and Do No Evil. But I love how these are designed with their curves. Like, they're not racing coasters because they're not identical paths, but they are timed and designed to twist in on each other, like right here, in such amazing ways. I don't know. I think this was just really cool in its design. Probably want to up our research, because that gets us more rides. Yeah. So how's everybody doing today? People got snow where they are? Let's start with some food and drink. Okay, I can build precisely one thing there. It should have been an information kiosk, but it's drinks instead. Multiple feet of snow predicted, but largely missed you. Yeah, that sounds about right. We were not predicted to have multiple feet. We were just predicted to get an amount. And thankfully we got it. Oh, the only food item I have here is the drinks. What do you mean construct a path? Oh, that's on a fence. Oh, okay. Whoops. See, I thought this was a pathway. No, that's like a wall. So drinks, you get to come over here. Tea. Okay, what kind of rides do we start with? We have a miniature railroad for transport. A lot of the classics. That's good. These are quick and easy to build. A lot of coaster options, actually. I may try to build a coaster. Let's build a bit of a space. Maybe like here-ish. Do like a bit of like a classic boardwalk area. Because I can level this out without breaking the bank, I think. Which one's landscaping? No, that's water. Landscaping. Yeah, so we'll have the path kind of come down from here. We can build our rides here. Although before I do that, I'm going to check out our staffing situation. And hire some more. Hire a security guard, because apparently that's how you fix broken fences. Or benches. Which... I guess it's this cobblestone? Yeah. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to plop some of these things down. And this gives me some space to put like stalls and things. So that'll be nice. Also, I'm going to pause the game real quick. Just so I can build this. Construction not allowed while game is paused. Wow! What an archaic rule. All right, how do we do this again? We do that. Then I'm thinking merry-go-round kind of in the middle of this. Have an entrance there. Exit there. It's going to be a little backwards. Well, with the entrance being there and all, but oh well. Nope, I do not want you two connected, believe it or not. Okay, we can open up our little funfair land. Merry-go-rounds spin different directions in the US and UK, making imports easy to spot. Okay, what direction? Which one's counterclockwise and which one's clockwise? I'm curious now. I might level out some of this to put in one last ride. Because we could still put in like a, we should probably just put this in. American ones are counterclockwise, step 0, counter. UK ones are clockwise. Interesting. The more you know. I guess I put in a spiral slide. We are the tiniest park in the country. Yay! Go us. I could do that, and then I can put the entryway path along that. Or just like that. That works too. It's not 100% since there isn't some universal industry standard. Fair enough. But still, it's cool to know. So I guess these ones are British then because they're going clockwise. Also, good to see you, kid. I see you changed how your name is arranged. Rotada! The Sabbath's made for man, not man for the Sabbath. What powerful words. A reminder from Christ to us that God has made the world ultimately for human beings. And the things of this world are not meant to be used to control others or manipulate us or bog us down. It doesn't mean we have free reign of the created world. We are good stewards of it. But your son told me how to do it, and you did it. There you go. What a good, helpful son. Oh, I don't have enough money to build that. That's a problem. Ooh, how is our cash flow, by the way? Poor. But our park value's doing well. What's our rating like? Okay, our rating's pretty high. I think I am going to raise admission a little bit, just to help. Uh-oh, one of the 3 monkeys has broken down. That was close. We got down to like $7. But now that we've rebuilt things and built this area up, which ironically is actually 2 areas. I don't know if that's irony, but it's 2 areas because you can't enter here and get to here unless you ride the carousel or the haunted house or the crooked house, which I think... Okay, good. These do have a base price charge to them. I know last time I said I prefer to do everything free but park entrance, but turns out that the operating system of RollerCoaster Tycoon really prefers it the other way around. Okay, now we can build that drinks fountain. Oh, looks like everyone's back in working order. That's good. So how much space are we actually working with here? Oh, wow. We actually have all of this surrounding space to work with. I'm wondering if maybe the next best area to work in is right here, because there's already a bit of flat. So we could level it out, put some stuff up there, like... But a circus show up there? I don't think I can flatten this, though, because it's right over this. So probably don't want to mess with that too much, but... This is long and skinny. We can put this up here. We need more money. Entrance on that side, exit there. Okay, how do we connect this back to the main path, though? Without going all over creation. I guess maybe this is the way. Isn't that what the Mandalorian says? This is the way? Found out about an Easter egg? What's the Easter egg, Sub-Zero? Lay it on us. That is not going to work, unfortunately. Hey, K-Max. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better today. Click on a guest and change their name to Simon Foster. Okay, I'll do that when I'm done making this path actually happen. There we go. And swinging ship is open. Okay, guest. Ah. Whoa. Okay, we have Simon Foster now walking around. Oh, he's painting. Oh, that was cute. Okay, so who's Simon Foster? Oh, they complained about the park entrance fee. You know what that means. Head artist and designer for RCT? That makes sense. We have a log flume. We have a boat hire. We could just put a boat hire out here. Nope. I didn't want that one. Boat hire. Make it higher. I don't think that's quite how a boat hire works, but we can try our darndest. There are a few other names there closer to cheats. But if you name someone Chris Sawyer, they will take pictures a lot. Huh. Do you have any new food? Nope. Or some other rides we can plop down. Probably egg scrambler. Don't really have a nice flat area for an egg scrambler at this time. So I'll make one. David Ellis imitates the ride video YouTube of the name. And here we are on ride name when boarding a coaster. I mean, if I could get Kevin Perger from Defunctland to narrate a mod for RollerCoaster Tycoon, that'd be pretty sweet. Let's put in some... Wow, we have spooky stuff. Oh, hey, we got a Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones! I was thinking of just like throwing down more, it's always good to just throw down trash cans. All over your park. And benches, so we'll do that in a moment. Do I have a pattern for this? No, not particularly. You kind of have this like whole spooky area. Oh wait, we could do the thing. So there's a thing wherein if you put a sign up, you can make it do not enter. But if you do it set up so that it's at the entrance, people can't ever leave your park. I'm not actually going to do that, but I find that little glitch funny. And Step Zero has redeemed a father joke. You know, I went to the grocery store today. I was looking for moose, but they were all out, so I got elk instead. Anyway, our cash flow is doing well now. Not as silky smooth. Uh-oh, something's breaking down. You can hear it in the music. Merry-go-round is broken down. Oh, it was a very sad day. Gonna pay back $1,000 of that loan. Just so the interest doesn't... Oh, wow, the interest is actually really small. Never mind, that is a pittance of interest. Look at that. $8 a month? I wish I had an interest rate that good. I really want to put in a circus show. I feel bad about removing all these plants. I assume they're mangroves. Entrance. Exit. Nope. Turn that off. Okay, fine. Ugh. My teabag had exploded, apparently. Tons of tea leaves. Historically, circus shows have been dicey prospects for theme parks. One thing Walt would never touch. Well, Walt Disney, I am not. Besides, this whole area has a carnival feel to it, so, you know, it's fitting. Besides, wouldn't a casino be a truly dicey prospect in a park? I think Walt got his circus in the end. Look at the communications department. I'm gonna do one thing really quickly. Where is it? Okay, it's set up to... These have to be watched every 10 minutes. That's good. The park entrance fee is very cheap. I can fix that. The best value. I'll take it. Maybe we could put something here. I could put a space rings. If I, like, level this out as a 4x4 right here. I mean, there's no queue, but yeah. What is our goal again? 1,400 guests. Okay, we are at 600. Not bad. Park rating of 600. So our park rating actually started that high, which is good. Just means we have to maintain it. So to attract more guests, I'm guessing the key is really going to be advertising. There we go. Put some of the trees back. Hide our circus of shame. We could probably put a roller coaster here. Maybe just flatten out some of this terrain for the starter area. Or maybe even just put the maybe just this part right here, actually. Can you put it in shows? Good question. So what do we have? We have a suspended single rail roller coaster. Seems inefficient. Steel roller coaster. Mine train roller coaster. Mini roller coaster. Wooden. Given that we already have 3 steel coasters, I'm thinking maybe just like a classic wooden. The land is persnickety. It's probably that little piece of land right there. What do you mean? I have lowered the land. So this is actually advantageous because we can use the hill as like a natural hill, so we don't need much of a lift hill. Then maybe a sharp bank. Actually, can we start? Just can deforest everything, apparently. Cannot construct. There's a tree in the way. Then remove the tree! This does not seem a hard concept. What are my personal favorite coasters? None of them. I hate all coasters. With a passion. I cannot do coasters. I hate rides that are fast and full of drops. Gonna remove these trees so I can just see where I'm building. So I'm thinking I'll loop back up around this bank and then swoop back in. Perhaps the builders are Irish and that's a fairy tree. That sounds like a them problem. Souvenir stall? All right. That's what my park was missing. Apparently one of the fastest non-cheat ways to make money is slap down an information kiosk during a rainstorm piss. Can confirm. This is not just a cheat code in video games. This is a cheat code in real life. So I used to work at an amusement park. And we sold ponchos and umbrellas. Umbrellas were like $20. Ponchos were like $3. And they were not nice ponchos. They were dirt cheap, like single use. Ponchos, and yeah, people would come in by the droves to buy them when it was raining outside. Even though the store I was in was right by the exit. It's like people were headed out anyway. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh no, this is in the way. Arrgh! Now I can't raise and lower this land because... Oh wait, no, I can. I love looking over at my own chat room and seeing the message, "Welcome to the chat room." So, thank you, Twitch chat. I never left. Oh, shoot. I am low on money. Watch as this coaster doesn't even work. I think it's time for a bit of a loan again. Let's just take out that loan we paid back. See through. No, that's not gonna help. Underground view? Can't build partly above and partly below ground. Okay. Which part is which? I hate ruining the landscaping. There we go. That's the part I was missing. Oh, hey, we can have it go underground. Sweet. We are spending so much money to do this, and it's probably not even going to work. Should probably institute using chain lift at this point. The merry-go-round is in fact British. The series was developed in the UK. Well, that tracks. Fine, I'll take out another loan. This roller coaster better be our magnum opus, or else we are not gonna do well. Oh, I went up too high. Need to get a height of 14. There we go. Oh my goodness, we actually managed to complete it. Let's see if it even works. Maybe we'll put entrance there. Maybe we'll finagle the exit on that side. Okay, here it goes. Guess they're hungry. Yeah, I don't have anywhere to sell them something to eat. Oh, that just barely clears that corner. That just barely worked. Oh no, this is not going to be free. This is going to be an e-ticket. Faux show. Do I not get like a just overall rating? Here we go. Rating. Sure. Works for me. And now let's connect this exit. Oh, wrong button. I want to be able to... lower that like that. So that this path can come down. There we go. And now we can open this. We only almost went into debt. Best value, safest. Park rating still very good. Guests climbing. I can build souvenir stalls. Won't have anywhere for them to eat. Charge for rides. Oh yeah. No, everything automatically is. All of these are $1. This I set to be $2.50. Figured, you know, the fancy coaster. Pops down some souvenir stalls. But when you're using all of your income to make a ride, could be a bit of a problem in the long run. That coaster was not cheap. See No Evil has broken down. Well, that's a problem. With people stuck on it, no less. Up. Why does nobody want to get on my coaster? Excitement. Intensity, ultra extreme. Oh, it's probably because of these bends, honestly. Tight bends can really freak your folk out. Gosh, how can I redesign that? Because the problem is I have the slide in the way. And yes, I could move the slide, but I will not. If I could just change this to be one big curve instead of this back and forth. I think that's what I need to do. Let's close the slide. I think I just have to... Unfortunately, I do have to just demolish that. Okay, delete that, delete that. Stay banking, because you're going to go into another turn. Is this up? Nope. It's just flat. Okay. Let's see how that is. That's just like one big wide bank at the bottom. These probably don't need to be chains watching this go, but I figure best to have chains than not. Hey, awaiting test results. Okay, look at that. Yeah, the intensity rating went way down when we changed that. So we're going to open that now. And look, some people are already getting in line. Just that little change. So let's go ahead and redecorate this hill a bit so it's looking less sad. Oh, I want pop balloons. I don't care about placing trees right now. I saw a balloon. What did I demolish to fit that right? I had to demolish the slide. So we'll put that back in a moment. Mr. Bones says goodbye. Yeah, so there was a slide like right here. I'll probably just lower this land to put this slide back in. I think I'll actually have to put it back a little bit. Oops. That land back there needs to be raised. Because if I put this farther back, I can put the Entrance there, the exit there. And then change the path. Oops. Oh, I have to lower that. Yeah, because now I can put the entrance there, and it'll hook up to the exit just like that. Yeah, look at this. People are clamoring for our ride. Apparently Chris Sawyer really hated the idea of a sandbox or free play mode for this game. Huh. Well, they succeeded in that there isn't one. Was that added in 2? I think we're going to call this Graveyard Run. How do I rename it? Name tag. Guests are hungry? Yeah. I'd be hungry too if there wasn't anywhere to eat. But I can't change that. Cheap entrance fee, I'll show you. Do I have any awful candy lined up for Valentine's? Ooh. Not yet. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but I haven't gone looking. Oh, mini golf. Wow, mini golf is massive. Where's kind of the back end? This is what I'm looking for. We can put the observation tower somewhere back here. That should be tall enough. Okay. Then let's do the footpath out. Oops, wrong button. I love sour candies. Why, did you see something awful that I should go pick up? Put some small trees and bushes down here just to help cover up this structure. Jelly Belly, Sour Pucker Lips, Watermelon, Strawberry, and Cherry. That just sounds tasty. That does not sound terrible, actually. That just sounds like something I'd eat. Hey, Stargazer Gazier, well, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Okay, our cash flow is doing really well lately. That's us building the roller coaster. Again, building the roller coaster. But yeah, profit's doing well. Gonna do a campaign for the park. I'm gonna do a campaign for the new coaster. Graveyard Run. Even though it's not new at this point, but it's September, so we should be advertising the spooky things. Leave it to Brax to make the somewhat distressing candy. Does Brax own Jelly Belly? I thought Jelly Belly was Nestle for some reason. Because I thought they owned like all the Wonka branded stuff. In addition to the reliable standby of Chalky Conversation Hearts this year, they have Mallow Cream Roses. I'm intrigued by Mallow Cream. I'm not sure quite what that means, but here's my secret. I actually love those Chalky Conversation Hearts. They're just like Necco wafers, and I love those. We have somewhere we can put this maze. Maybe over here. Just to play communion with Necco wafers. I'm going to assume you were a child at the time, because otherwise that... What do you mean I can't construct this here? Just raise it all up. Fine, I will level this ground. Mallow cream is what candy corn is made of. Oh, okay. And strawberry cupcake, frosted sugar cookie, and Valentine's punch. Well, frosted sugar cookie already exists in the elf flavor bag. I'm curious about strawberry cupcake and terrified by Valentine punch. Oops, one too far. Yeah, kneeling on a bee would ruin playtime for any child, I imagine. Okay. Is this enough space for the spiral maze now? Oh, I need the money for it. I'm spending so much money reshaping the land. Oh, and I even made it too low. Consarn it. Fine, since interest is non-meaning... Since interest has no meaning in this game... Everything's breaking down, and I'm busy messing around with the... I still don't have enough, even after I took out the loan. Oy vey. Oy vey. Okay, we're gonna move this entrance just to be there. The exit can stay there. That's fine. Because then we can do that. Okay, let's add back some shrubbery. Yes, I'm aware guests can't find anywhere to eat. I can't build them anywhere to eat. Okay, advertising run. Still hasn't been fixed. I should hire some more staffing. Just since we're getting a little more large in the park. Why can't I build them anywhere to eat? Because I don't know how. I go to rides and attractions, and under shops and stalls, I have drink stall, balloon stall, souvenir stall, or information kiosk, or bathroom. I don't have the blueprints to build anything to eat. Burgers and pizza are hard. Hey, Matt Pack, how you doing? Did Pete Tony ever figure out what to do with the eye? Have I ever heard of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride? I, in fact, have an homage to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride right here. What Matt Pack is referring to is there's a... someone did a ride where it's like the longest, slowest ride in RollerCoaster Tycoon. And it's like, what? Like, in-game time, it would take you 4 days to ride? Or like years? It's like something ridiculous. It just takes up the whole map, and it's just slowly going by. It's, 4 years. And the only decoration is this skeleton friend right here, who is nicknamed Mr. Bones. Oh, good times. Well, of course it leads to the entrance. What else would you do? There ain't no getting off this train we're on, as Barrett would say. You managed to sort out the thumbnail. That's good. At one point, it looked like he was making you into Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Nice. Good to see you, Map. We have lots of water rides. Why are we making so many? Can I tell research to stop it on the water rides? No. Apparently, then I won't be able to get thrill rides or coasters, I guess. Probably thrill rides. I would like more of like these style thrill rides. Okay, we're doing well in the guest numbers. And our... Well, actually, this is the lowest our park rating has been in a while, but... It's going back up, and it's still staying pretty good. I'm going to hire more janitors, though, because I am seeing some vomit. Look at that, another water ride, River Rapids. What did I do to deserve this? What's pre-made look like? I can actually almost, but not quite fit that in there. Huh. I feel like this would be a good area to develop at some point, but guess I will tell. Focus on shops and stalls only. We need to figure out how to make burger stands, because apparently that is difficult. We're pretty close to the park goal, though. Because 1,400 guests, rating of 600, ratings at 911, and guests at 1,000, so that's not bad. Now we still have 2 more years to build it up. Seriously, Speak No Evil's still broken down? Let's get another mechanic in there. You know, I just realized something, just looking at this. This is not a maze. This is just a series of J-hooks. Like, the only critical decision is right here in the middle. And if you go left, or rather, if you go right, you will make it out. Guests are commenting that it's too cheap to enter. Okay. Give me more of your money. Well, you're also complaining about nowhere to eat. I know it's been done, but I think it would be fascinating to watch this played by like an actual like theme park engineer, like someone who designs the layout itself. Not necessarily the individual rides, but pop. Pay back some loan. Because our cash flow is pretty good now. We're not actively building anything because we're just waiting for research to figure out burgers and or hot dogs. Did I just blink and miss all of, like, October to March? Because I thought it was... Or does the game not count November, December, January, February? Is those 4 months automatically off? And considered, like, off-season? It must be, because there's no way it leads that quickly. Okay, so I got pretty close intensity rating. And a better nausea rating. Well, higher, not necessarily better. How do all three of these compare, though? Pretty close. Higher nausea increases park rating. Oh, interesting. Well, then I did good. I think park rating can also be improved by, like, what you have, like your decorations, how many rides you have. Wow, these three are almost, like, identical. Guess they're hungry. Yeah, I get they're hungry. Tell them to wait 5 more days. Also, 20 degrees C in March. That is darn hot for March. Come on, research. Come on, R&D. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in paying off my debt. I don't want that hanging over me. All that work and you made a hat stall. I know we tell people to go eat their hat, but don't always mean it literally. Worst R&D department ever. No, I can't click this balloon. There we go. And now that it's storming, people should be rushing to the various booths by the umbrellas, which is great. Yeah, you hear that ka-ching sound? That's us making profit on umbrella prices. No, I am not going to crank up the umbrella price. I'm not that desperate for cash flow. I will put a second hat stand somewhere, though. Maybe in Carnival Land. Arc rating doing good. Guess down a little, but not too bad. Yes, yes. Look at all the Regenschirm. Hey, R&D, what's your next thing? 20th of April. 420. Sure. I'm still wondering what speedrunning this looks like. Like, I didn't get a chance to watch a video. But, like, that must... They must have really studied exactly, like, what works when. Like, what's the most efficient. And I wonder if, like, on a park like this, they just come and immediately sell these 3 coasters for the money. You know, or something like that. That is not how water works. Look at that. Just there's a sheer cliff at the edge of the water. What other low-profile rides do I possibly have? It's not terrible. I hate the loop in the middle of it, though. That's kind of obnoxious. But that could go, like, right there. Yeah, let's try to clear out these trees. See if we can't build this logger's revenge right here. I'm gonna have to level out this ground. It's gonna cost so much money. Oh well. Maybe if we level everything out to this height. Need more money. Okay, I'll take some loan back out, please. It costs so much. And just like that, $1,000 or $2,000 of loan is gone. And we're in debt. And we're out of debt. More money, please. Okay, still, so about 2 out on one side and 3 out on the other. And 2 towards the back. Shoot. Overshot that. Maybe I should have cranked up the umbrella price there. It will. Our rating's really good, though. 928. Hot dog stall. Okay, hot dog. Or as we said on Game of Faves on Friday. Oh boy, hot diggity dog. So add a bunch of these hot dog stalls throughout the park. I do that voice frighteningly well. Thank you. I describe it as frighteningly good. I used to mess with students when I worked in campus ministry, and you know, if they were just like hanging out in a room, walk in, just start doing mass parts, but in that voice. So Mickey Mouse then? Yes! There. 4 hot dog stands strategically located throughout the park. People can no longer complain that there is nowhere to eat. There are hot dogs. I did not say there was good food. I just said there is food. Is the mouse canonically correct? The mouse is always correct. I know I can't construct there. I'm working on it. Give me more of a loan. It turns out your interest rates are inconsequential. Now is there enough room? Ah, just barely off. I need to raise up this area. I will have leveled this all out to build this. It would have been faster and cheaper, I think, to try and design my own, but I live here now. You need $3,000 more to build this. Yeah, that's what I expected. Okay, let's make more money. I'm still very pleased with how this coaster turned out. They are very thirsty. Let's add a drink stand. That is not where I wanted that. I guess the ground on the other side of that is raised up. Yeah, I thought that was flat. Oh, Hear No Evil must have just been repaired. And I'm still several thousand off from even building that log flume. Because I can't even really build much here because the park line is right there. So it's not like the last park where we can build a ton out onto the water. You know, now that I have a food item, actually, I'm going to tell research. Fries, great. Keep working on the fries. But after that, work on some thrill and gentle rides. And ride improvements. The French fry stall will be done in just a few days. That's actually quite nice. Hey, look at that. Look what we finally built. Build that there. And let's put... Nope, I don't want... Quit fighting me, footpath. Alright, we finally got our log flume built. Yay! And we got our fry stall. hot dogs and fries. We provide a well-balanced meal here at Three Monkeys Park. There, now if anyone complains that there is nowhere to eat in this park, they're bringing it upon themselves for having standards. Let's do some advertising. We haven't done that lately. That might help us out. Let's run a short one for the park itself. Let's run one for the new log flume as well. Where's the new log flume's ratings, by the way? We are still awaiting test results. Oh wow, the first cart has not even come back yet. Look, these are from the test. This is the first actual ride of people on it. So what does it do? A big splash. Wind around, wind up again for a second big splash. Hearing a lot of chings. Yes, the ka-chings, that means something is selling. Oh, this log flume should not be free. Apparently, if you leave ride in test mode, they contribute to park rating, but never degrade or break down. Huh. So I guess once you've reached your park rating that you want, the speedrun strat is to then put everything into test mode. And just bring in money from, like, stalls or something, I guess. I might need to make this queue longer, actually. Going to connect that over there. Oh, this poor person got stuck there. Oh, whoops. Wrong path type. Put that there. There we go. Now that log flume path is... Boat 5 and Boat Hire 1 hasn't returned to the docking platform yet. Check whether it's stalled. What do I do if it is stuck or stalled? Boat. So I guess... Nope. Boat 5. It's coming into the station now. They just took their time. They're allowed to. They paid for it. Wow, the boat hire is popular. Look at the line. Hey, I'll hire another security guard just in case. Keep those benches intact. Okay, our guest total's going up. Don't know if we'll get 1,400 by the time we're done today, but... But this should be done. I don't know if we'll find time to babysit this one to the end to actually complete it right away, but it's very forgiving on the park rating because it starts you out at 900. But that can crash because that happened to me when I was doing the last scenario when I was finishing it off. My park rating crashed down to like 300 because of a breakdown on a ride where the vehicles crashed. Turns out the guests don't like that. Advertising campaign for Ferris wheel and the park is finished. Yay! It's currently developing Woe Belly. I don't know what a Woe Belly is. Hey, look, it's when we built the log flume. Oh, well, now we can learn. Oh! Oh, okay. It's a tower. It's a tower drop. Do another ad campaign. We'll build this. Where to put this? Sure. It lives there now. Entrance on that side. I guess exit there. I think that's going to be too tall, but I could probably hook it up right there. Yeah, that works. Let's get some garbage cans at the end of that. That's probably pretty nausea intense. Well, let's run an ad campaign for that. I guess that's Tower 2. That's a short ride. 10 seconds. How long would you wait in line for a 10-second ride before you decide to say, nope, that's too long? because this is built very much kind of more as like the amusement park model. Like, you can do some theming, but, you know, something like Disney or Orlando, they really do a lot with the line itself to tell the story. Depends on how good those 10 seconds are. That's fair. Okay. How long of a line would you be willing to wait in for this? You're gonna nope out of that thing entirely? Didn't you used to? I thought you liked the rocket. Huh. I knew you liked coasters, but I thought for some reason you also liked the straight drop rides. Oh well. How long of a ride is this coaster? 52 seconds. That seems like a decent length for a coaster. It would feel like an endless 52 seconds to me. That said, I know you can play up a line to half an hour for a ride of that length. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think I'd do that. Like, even if I like that ride, I don't think I'd say, yep, this amount of time. Yeah, I'm paying off the rest of the loan. We have really good cash flow right now. The log flume and the tower really did it. I'm hearing seal noises. I'm guessing that's coming from the circus. Wait, the circus is free. That's ridiculous. Nothing is free in this park. It's exciting, though. Yeah, turns out having food to eat is a really good way to make money in the park. Oh yeah, I wanted to see the actual results of this. Very low nausea rating, but very nice excitement rating. Ching, 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 ching. It's because I have lots of booths and stalls and things around here to sell things. Now we're up to 1,200 guests. Let's see. Park rating, 956. Not bad. Nice boost in attendance. It's all advertising. But it doesn't matter in this scenario. But what is our park value at? Our park value is doing very well. Having started at only about 8,000. Now at about 25 grand. That's good. Hey, look, we built a big ride. We built a big ride. We built a big ride. Your advertising campaign for the park is finished. Cool. Time for another advertising campaign. Let's do free rides on... Hear No Evil, why not? Let's get some free fries. Yeah, just some nice general advertising. We're doing a media blitz at the end of the summer. Yeah, look at this. This line is full. These people are going to lose their hats. Does this have an average wait time? I thought it did somewhere. Queue time, 3 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. I guess. The log flume probably has a much worse queue time. Because it's just so slow. Yeah, queue time, 10 minutes. And ride length, 4 minutes, 51 seconds. It's nearly 5 minutes long. Come on, this is not Tianu's Bayou Adventure. Ghost train. Guess that's probably a ride type for the miniature railroad. Because it shouldn't be researching any coasters. And it hasn't. Oh, there it is. Ghost train. Maybe I'll build that there out on the waterfront. Kind of goes with Carnival Land and that whole aesthetic. Sorry, trees. So I think if I use this and I go over the path here, or over the water here, the boat hire can still get through. Like I seem to recall that they were able to, in the last one, yeah, they row around the scaffolding just fine. Nope, we're almost there. 1,300. Designing a new thrill attraction. Okay. Okay, if my ad campaign for Tower is finished, let's advertise the new ride. Your entry fee is very cheap. By Anselm's whiskers, I will increase it. Walk down some benches. It does look like a fun. I would legit have a good day here, I think. Like you have these 3 huge coasters that are beautifully designed again. As an anchor, you have a nice like carnival area, nice classic wooden coaster, some log flume, some nice viewing. Looks like a fun park, except for all the roller coasters. Aww. I thought you liked roller coasters, Kit. Oh, yeah, that I would enjoy. Yes, I would enjoy this, except for the coasters. I would enjoy looking at the coasters. But the being on and the dropping and the looping and the fast and the whoosh, Oh, we are so close to 1,400 guests. I'll give you half price entry to the park, people. Because we are now making money hand over fist. We've paid off our loans. We have $1,500 in our pocket. We could probably just build a big roller coaster and not even blink. Like, look at that. Whoop. Start cash flow. Park value staying steady-ish. Going down a little, but that happens. What about our ratings? 897, staying at the 900 range. Oh, I see more snow falling. Come on, snow. We're supposed to get more later this week, too, in the city. Father a duck, that's an original sin. Yep. I'm practicing my APM, my actions per minute, with duck quacks. Go-karts? That's exciting. How big of a track is... That's a pretty small track, actually. Big as mega track. Whoa, okay. It's a little bit more. Come on, 2 guests. Come on, come on. 1 more guest. Come on. I saw it go to 1,400. Yes! Yes! Okay, we hit the goal. We hit the goal. That is fantastic. That's what we're going to call it. Because we have our rating. We have our guest count. And we still have a year to go. But we're out of time for today. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. Join us again on Thursday for Spirituality Thursday. Playing some more Spiritfarer. Looking forward to that. That game totally has me entranced. And I want to play more on my own, but I'm waiting. I'm just going to play it on stream. So it is just original experience for me. And then next week, no streams. I'm on vacation, but I'll see you the week after that. We'll have more Kingdom Hearts, more RollerCoaster Tycoon, and more Spiritfarer that week. So why don't we go ahead and see if there's someone to raid right now. Hey, K-Max is live. Let's go raid K-Max. So, all right, everyone, take care. Thank you for following, liking, subscribing, all that good jazz. So take care, and God bless. All right, raid 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raid.